That this is not a given. No, it will be harder to get back to the place where we just were. Learn from yesterday so that tomorrow will be all we know it can be. I'd like to give a little information on some of these personal accolades that they've earned, as well as just a little quote that I thought maybe helped describe them. First one, what is the difference between an obstacle and an opportunity? Our attitude toward it. Raven taught me that every opportunity had a difficulty, and every difficulty has an opportunity. This season for Raven, it was filled with plenty of ups and downs. From being told when he transferred that he wouldn't be able to play, to then getting cleared but seeing us head down to North Carolina for the holidays. Then once we got back, he had to play catch up to be ready to start playing in mid-January. Raven worked extremely hard to get himself ready, but unfortunately another setback occurred, an injury. Instead of sulking and letting frustration set in, Raven worked very hard to get back on the floor. We can all be very thankful he did and was able to give us the performance in a lose-and-go-home type game. It is safe to say that Raven Owens saved our season with his performance versus Paul VI. This game gave him confidence that carried over for the remainder of the season, and one that I'm hoping will lead to him making big play after big play next season for us. Raven is away playing an AU tournament in LeBron, and therefore the reason he wasn't here tonight. Now on to the so-called Big Three. The news of Wade and Marcus coming to Joe spread like wildfire. There were blogs and articles before anything was even confirmed. The county coaches were in an uproar, but at the same time, they were confident that there was no way that these three could coexist. I mean, look at the original Big Three of the Miami Heat. They crashed and burned in their first season. How would it be possible that 16 and 17-year-old kids to blend when grown men couldn't figure it out? The entire county was waiting for this to blow up in our face. Although we had our share of bad days, this trio was able to put their desires for individual accolades aside and concentrate on how we can become a stronger team so that this senior class would leave as the champions they deserve to be. These three players, all preseason top 50 in New Jersey to watch, combined to score 1,623 points this season. That is truly an astonishing number. Marcus, the difference between the impossible and the possible lies in a man's determination. At times, Marcus would steal the spotlight with his powerful dribble drives and spectacular dunks. Despite some foolish postseason award snubs, Marcus proved he was no third wheel. He is just as big a piece of this puzzle as anyone in the room. He was probably our most consistent guy, night in and night out, with full effort given. He personally had to sacrifice so much too. The majority of his stuff came off the ball. Think about that for a second. Here's a kid that scored 870 points in 2 seasons with the ball in his hands, and for the majority of time, he never complained. He found other ways to get the ball in his hands to help this team win. He always came up with that big steal, such as East Brunswick at the rack to clinch the win in double overtime. Second quarter versus St. Peter's Prep in a state final to give us a lead of 20-19 that we never relinquished. And even got one in the TOC final with a powerful N1 that made me think that maybe Marcus once again was going to spark us to victory. He finished the season with 466 points scored, which made him the career scoring leader in Middlesex County this past season with 1,363 points. He also averaged 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals a game. His high game was 31 points this season versus St. Peter's Prep when he scored his 1,000th point. He scored double figures in the last 10 games of the season. He was named 4th-team non-public All-State by the Star-Ledger, 2nd-team All-State All-Junior team, 1st-team All-Middlesex County by the Star-Ledger and Home News Tribune, 2nd-team All-Area by the Home News Tribune, member of the Star-Ledger All-Dunk team, honorable mention MSG All-Metro team, and MSG All-New Jersey team. Marcus Terrells. Again, Marcus is down in Virginia playing in a Bull Williams AAU tournament as well. Wade. No. For Wade, stats are like bikinis. They show a little bit, but not everything. Not many people at St. Joe's knew about Wade prior to his arrival, which was a good thing. Wade has always seemed to have an unfair opinion about him. Maybe it's because of his visible air of confidence he shows on the court, or perhaps it's from people misunderstanding his desire to win or the high expectations he puts on himself. Regardless, I was very happy to have Wade join our team. I saw him play once as a sophomore versus my brother, and he scored 38 points. Thus, I knew we were getting a player with an impressive resume and a bright future. He averaged 17.6 points the previous season and scored 776 points in his career. Wade's biggest strength this past season is he became a double-edged sword. Sure, I mentioned he was capable of scoring the basketball either by using his graceful athleticism or posting up smaller guards, but he also possessed an outstanding passing ability. He is a very smart player that knew when to shoot and when to pass. But I believe the biggest advantage he gave to us this past season was his ability to defend. I can remember our second game against Teaneck, and his dad sitting across from me on the floor when the ball was about to be tipped, yelling at me that's who you got him covering? Talking about Shakir Lindsay, a lightning quick guard that was about 6 inches smaller than Wade. I think he was a little worried that the little guard might get Wade in foul trouble, but I knew that Wade was up to the challenge. The previous year, Shakir was breaking us down and enabled Teaneck to come back to beat us. We were not about to let that happen again. Wade did a tremendous job that day and proved to everyone that he is capable of being a top-tier defender with his quickness and his length. In fact, he held almost every player we put him on this past season to half their average. From Matt Jones going to Duke all the way to Travis White going to St. Peter's, Wade locked them down. He finished the season with 517 points scored. He has a career total of 1,293 points. He also made 117 free throws, averaged 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals a game. He was named third team non-public All-State by the Star-Ledger, second team non-public All-State by the Star-Ledger, first team All-State All-Junior team, first team All-Middlesex County by the Star-Ledger and Home News Tribune, first team All-Area by the Home News Tribune, a member of the Star-Ledger All-Dunk team, Dunker of the Year in Middlesex County, honorable mention MSG All-Metro team and MSG All-New Jersey team. Wade Ball. And not one technical this year. Not one. Don't come up. Carl, last season there seemed to be a blog written about every move Carl made. This season, due to technology advances, there seems now to be a video or YouTube clip on everything he does. The quote, "Nobody hands you excellence on a silver platter. You earn it through planning, preparing, and persisting in the face of obstacles." Carl did all he was supposed to do as a freshman. He waited his turn and allowed the team to belong to the 2 seniors. While he picked and chose the moments to assert himself, they were usually at exactly the right time. I mean, Carl put up extraordinary numbers as a freshman. He averaged 11.4 points per game, 302 rebounds, and 117 blocks. With Danny and Q graduating, and 2012-13 supposed to be the Towns era, the time for him to show that he was capable of taking these Falcons to new heights. Well, with the transfers of Wade and Marcus and a healthy James, Carl was now faced with a choice to make. Would he insist that he be the man, or would he be willing to share the spotlight with his talented teammates? To anybody that knows Carl, this was an easy decision for him to make. As I've stated so many times in the past, Carl is more of an amazing person than he is a basketball player. He looked at the arrival of the new kids and the health of his previously injured teammates as a good thing, and knew they would all come together to take us to a place that the school has never gone before. That is what makes Carl different than all those other so-called superstars. He's always been about the we more than the me. There are plenty of teams in every sport that have a great player that never win titles. Most of the time, that's because the player is not willing to sacrifice for the greater good of the team. Carl worked on improving every facet of his game. He realized that he needed to be more assertive in the post. As a freshman, he had 64 two-point field goals made and 63 three-point field goals made, and only had 43 made free throws. Well, this past season, he bumped that up to 203 two-point field goals, made 138 free throws while taking a lot less three-pointers, still led our team with 32. We could actually host a banquet in itself to tell you all the things that Carl accomplished this past season. At last year's banquet, I stated that we expected Carl to be the face of the program, and I'm glad to see that he didn't disappoint and actually exceeded my expectations. No player in my time has earned as many accolades that this fine young man has. In fact, I've been quoted so much talking about him, and I'm sure that I have anything left to say that hasn't already been heard by everyone in this room. So I will just leave it to the facts. He has 1,001 career points, 729 rebounds, 285 blocks, and 95 made threes in his 2-year varsity career. This past season, he scored 640 points, which raised his scoring average from 11.4 to 20.6. He averaged 13.8 rebounds a game, 4.1 assists, and 5.5 blocks per game. He had 22 double-double games, 3 triple-double games, and 1 rare quadruple-double game this past season. He was named First Team All-State by the Star-Ledger, First Team Non-Public All-State by the Star-Ledger, First Team All-State All-Frosh team, Star-Ledger Middlesex County Player of the Year, First Team All-Sophomore team by the Star-Ledger, member of the Star-Ledger All-Dunk team, First Team All-Area Home News Tribune, Home News Tribune Player of the Year, Honorable Mention, MSG All-Metro team, Second Team All-MSG All-New Jersey, and the New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year Award, the first in our school's history. Ken, Carl, come on up. The remaining players are the true reason we are here tonight. While each of their journeys and roles may have been different, those of you graduating will always be Falcons. You must carry that banner proudly. Their term alma mater means nourishing mother in Latin. St. Joe's has treated you well, and in turn, you have given this basketball program everything for 4 years, and we will never forget your contributions. Your legacy is quantifiable and emotional. This class has never known what it's like to lose a GMC championship game, winners of 4 straight titles. They have won more basketball games in their career than any other class that has walked the hallways. And they've become the first Middlesex County basketball team to ever play in a Tournament of Champions finals. More importantly, you showed with hard work that great things are possible. St. Joe's students are just different. I'll never forget the first day I made cuts 8 years ago. I got to school the next day just as St. Joe's was dismissing, and I was like, this isn't going to be good. I got to see all these kids' faces that I cut. As a coach, that's the hardest thing you can do, is cut a kid. Yet to my surprise, as I was getting out of my car, they approached me and came up to me and said, best of luck this season, Coach. We'll be rooting for you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. I was completely blown away. Well, 8 years later, I am the one thankful for having the opportunity to work with this group of seniors. They've taught me a lot about life, and I hope we taught them how to be better men. Like the other group, I'd like to talk about these 7 kids before any of them come forward. At the end, I prefer they come. First up, Matt Green. At times, life just isn't fair. For anybody that knows the type of person Matt is, the injury to his knee is just not supposed to happen to a kid like him. He's by far one of the greatest kids I've ever had a chance to coach. He's such a great competitor, a true warrior, a relentless worker, the ultimate teammate. In the summer, I would see him in the weight room daily, then outside on the football field doing some safe training, and then coming to a basketball game and give it everything he had. His desire and work ethic were unmatched. I am thankful that he is recovering from the injury, and he was even more excited when I found out that he still wanted to be part of the hoop team. You always want kids like Matt Green in your program, and I'm thankful that he came along for the ride. I know that the 2012-13 team was better for us just having him around. Thank you. You can come up, Randy. You guys can come up. I'll call you up at the end. It don't matter. Make an adjustment. Tommy Chickalese, another player that put 4 years of hard work year-round into the Falcon program. Unfortunately, the season started without Chick, in my opinion, to no mistake of his. Him and his family did everything possible to get him to be part of the Falcon program. It may have took longer than we all wanted, but we were all thankful that he was given a chance to join the team late in the year. Of course, missing most of the season was not easy on Chick. He knew he had to play catch-up, but he was fine with that. He kept a positive attitude and worked as hard as possible each and every day. This positive attitude and strong work ethic is something that helped push his teammates and made us all better. I know that Tommy Chickalese will be a successful person in life because he has all the great characteristics you need to be one. Chick. Mr. Smith is probably the greatest GM in the history of basketball in Middlesex County. Every year when the season is over, we get together, we talk about a piece of the team I believe we are missing. We then normally find ourselves talking about the senior class and all the kids we had on both freshman teams and what kids are no longer part of the program. I will usually say a name followed by, if we just had him this season, I think our team would be so much better. Mr. Smith, being the type of persuasive guy he is, then goes out and hunts the kid down and talks to him about playing. He has been able to land such kids as Drew Colon, Bobby O'Grady, Kevin Wadegovich, and all three guys have helped our team be successful. Well, now we can add Sean Finan to that list. I'm very thankful Sean decided to play his senior season. He brought a much-needed championship attitude and competitive edge to the team. One of the greatest things Sean did was bring energy and effort every single day. He is such a competitor that he hated losing even in practice. That type of attitude is exactly what we needed. It made all his teammates better. At times it was not easy for Sean. He sort of had to pick things up on a fly since most of the guys were with us in the program, but basketball is like riding a bike. Just because he hadn't played with us didn't mean he stopped knowing how to play the game. He is a true throwback player, one who just understands how to play. He did all the little things that sort of do not find their way into the box score, but are so important for the team to have success. We had no problem putting Sean in at any time, since we knew he excelled in pressure situations and had a knack for winning. He is a main reason that this team had a successful season, and hope he enjoyed the season as much as we enjoyed having him around. Sean Finan. Michael Brunson. In In my opinion, nobody had a harder role to fill than Runs. With the addition of the talented proven junior guards to the program, Runs found himself in a tough position, but he never once let it get him down. As a senior, you would always like to have total control over your final season. This was not always the case for Michael. He never complained about anything due to the fact that he was brought up the right way, and he has the caliber of a St. Joe's student. He came to practice every single day and worked extremely hard, regardless if he played the night before or not. At practice, he was willing to do anything we needed him to do. If we wanted him to be on scout team, he would do that. If we put him with the first group, he'd do that, and he'd run the plays the right way. He was a true team player, one that I was happy to see have success when he got into the game. He would give us an instant offensive spark. I am confident, again, that he too will be a successful person doing life based on his values he has, and one that I'm proud to coach. Runs. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the X Factor. I know him and Coach Eric would have talks about whether he was going to play his senior year or concentrate on golf. Every time Coach Eric would approach me on this matter, I'd say, listen, there's no guarantees about playing time and minutes, but just tell him I believe in him, and I know he understands how to play the game, and eventually we will need to sub. What he does with those minutes will determine where he fits in. I am thankful, too, that he decided to play his senior season, since he was the ultimate glue guy for us. He could go in and play a guard or a post. The bottom line is he really just understood what it was we needed at that particular moment. He never tried to do too much, and he was always in the right place at the right time. Fitz was always in during a key moment in a big game because there was confidence he would do the right thing or find a way to help us win. Whether it was grabbing that big defensive rebound at the GMC final, or deflecting a pass, or hustling after a loose ball, or knocking down that open shot. It is safe to say that St. Joseph basketball does not have the kind of success it had this season without him. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jimbo and James. I can't separate these two now. I guess I should start off with a thank you, and just know there are no words that we can say that can do justice for all they've done in their 4 years. These two have been joined at the hip since they entered as freshmen. When I talk about the 4 years, I don't just mean the games, practices, basically every day. For 365 days for 4 years. They were the first two freshmen from the same class to ever be placed on varsity since I've been here. Trust me, that first year, 2009-10, they were spoiled. They got to play with such a great, well-disciplined team that knew how to work hard and do the right things. That team followed every rule we had. No talking during stretching, only get a drink when a team gets a drink, always have practice gear on, and they would practice hard for 3-4 hours a night. That team was a well-oiled machine. They did everything the right way. However, that team was known to run a suicide or a touch drill once in a while, but they were also a very well-conditioned team. We finally got over the hump, and we brought home our first EMC title, and Jimbo and James were living a life. Second season, they went from being spoiled kids to varsity starters. The only way they were able to do this was by the quote I talked about that year of sweat plus sacrifice equals success. They worked so hard during the summer months. They played 2 games every Sunday in the fall that basically, even though they were entering their sophomore season, they were really juniors because of how much basketball they played that summer and fall. This team as well was a bunch of hard workers. They had their share of long nights. Practice days off were far and few between. And with the growing success, the days seemed to get longer. More film, more prep time was needed, but once again, this team was able to handle it. Jimbo started the season off on fire. His first game he scored 15, second game 18, fourth game 20. While James was doing his thing, grabbing rebounds and blocking shots. The Falcons were rolling. Team started to figure out that these two guys were legit. James had a huge block in the GMC final versus Peeway that helped seal the win, and the Falcons were GMC champs again. Third season, Jimbo and James are back and ready to lead a talented group of Falcons to the third straight title and hoping for our first state championship. Well, with success comes more expectations and thus more work. This team, although talented, needs to be reminded a lot about the way things are done around here. Needless to say, we are fortunate to have Jimbo and James start to become leaders. Our first scrimmage, Trenton Catholic, Sunday afternoon at home. Great test to just see where we're at right now. I remember to play like it was yesterday. James gets caught trailing a cut. He fights over to get back in front. When he does, I hear a scream, and he goes down. I'm sick to my stomach. I can't believe he's hurt. Our season is in serious jeopardy. To the credit of Jimbo and the rest of the guys on the team, we're able to fight through the season basically playing a 5-man rotation for 32 minutes. Jimbo continues to be a solid point guard. He's handling extreme pressure daily. He's sacrificing his own offensive game to get the ball to 3,000-point scorers that we have. James keeps rehabbing, but there's still really no timetable as to when he will be back. We're hoping that he will be ready come tournament time so that we have another capable body. To his credit, he comes to practice every single day and continues to support the team. We get James back for the GMC Championship game versus North Brunswick, game 26. It's safe to say that we were not GMC champs or state champs if James does not come back from his injury. He gave us very valuable minutes in a GMC final and the state playoffs that season. Jimbo was truly amazing. He did a great job handling the pressure and defending guards that already had Division I scholarships. It was so satisfying to not only win, but to see just how far these two have come. Fourth season. We clearly know what took place this year on game day, thus there's no reason for me to recap it. However, what many of you do not know is that without Jimbo and James as our senior captains, there's no way this team stays together long enough to win all we did. They were the perfect two captains for this team. As I said, it was not always pretty this past season, especially on practice days. But Jimbo and James were the perfect leaders for the job. Jimbo and James were not the type of guys that would get in your face and threaten to beat you up. They were two kids that have done the right thing their entire life. Instead of yelling and arguing with the team when things were not perfect, they kept their mouth shut and went about doing what they needed. They touched lines when we did drills. They got drinks when we were allowed. They worked hard every single day. Eventually, the team started to see what had to be done, and eventually things got better. I won't lie and tell you it was perfect, but what I will tell you that without that type of guidance and leadership, there's no way that this team wins one championship. It is clear to see that no two players have gone through more than these two guys. We've had some bad days, we've had some great days. We've had some days in between. But I guess the biggest thing we could all be thankful for is we had them together. It's going to be strange for me moving forward to not see them at practice. We've had over 240 official in-season practices. Truth is, I don't even remember the drills we do anymore. Jimbo and James were in charge of setting most of them up. I'm going to need to take them out to dinner one night and pick their brains and start to write stuff down. It sucks getting old. I will miss the quiet guy, Jimbo. He was like the dog I never had. I'd yell at him all the time when things didn't go right. For the majority of the time, he took it. I will miss seeing the championship photos. There's Big Game James, front and center, letting everybody know just how many championships this is that we won. Stats do not do them justice. Basically, since they sacrificed so much of their own game for the good of the team. However, I would tell you that Jimbo finished with 586 points, 107 made threes, and 100 steals. James, even with missing a season, had 235 points with 271 rebounds and 55 blocks. However, the real numbers that tell you all you need to know about them is this: 101 wins with only 17 losses, a perfect 4-for-4 GMC title games, 2 state championships, 1 TOC final. No two players in the history of the school have won as many games or championships as these two. That tells you a lot about how they were raised. As coaches, we want to say to James and Jimbo, we could not be more proud of you. We recognize the competitive efforts. We're in awe of how you juggled school, athletics, other extracurricular activities, community involvement. You gave us so much day in and day out, week in, week out, year in, year out. You are all great kids, and your successes are just beginning. Thank you for letting us be part of your lives. To their senior classmates, it has been a 4-year roller coaster ride, which we, coaches, parents, teachers, and fans, have seen this group grow right before our eyes. They have taken the school and basketball program to heights that no other class has done before. Not only the seniors, but all of you have helped our school and basketball program into a respectful, competitive, and legit program. If you do not believe me, then just take a look around at all the people in the room here tonight for you. Seniors, as you head into your next endeavor, I want to wish you the best of luck. You have made us proud, and remember, you will never be forgotten. You have begun to build the foundation for many championship teams to follow in your footsteps. Jimbo and James. Coach Molars was unable to be here tonight. His son Justin is in the Air Force, and they flew in, so he's home with him. But I wanted to sort of just acknowledge him for the years. So we'll try to record this, get it to him. For those of you that don't know, I played for Coach Moars back in the late 80s. I just realized it was 25 years this past week. Coach Moore taught me to compete every play at the highest possible level and how to be a good teammate. Coach always preached effort, sportsmanship, desire, trust, and an unmatched will to win. Since playing for Coach Muller, I always envisioned being a coach, and I can tell you the amount of joy coaching has brought to me.